You are about to hear the Odyssey by Homer in Modern Prose, narrated and adapted by Mike Vendetti. This is not a literal line-by-line translation of the ancient Greek, but a faithful retelling of the story in contemporary English, shaped especially for audio listening. I have followed the structure and major events of the original poem while using clear, direct language and a steady narrative voice so that you can focus on the journey itself. The aim of this version is simple: to let you experience Odysseus's long struggle to return home as a living story, not as a distant monument. If this is your first time with Homer, I hope it will welcome you in. If you already know the poem, I invite you to hear it anew. Now, let us begin. Chapter 1. The Council of the Gods. Zeus and Athena decide Odysseus must finally come home. The story of Odysseus does not begin on earth, but above it, high over the broad plain of heaven. The gods sat in council on the shining floor of Olympus. The air there was clear and still. No wind troubled that height. No storm clouds gathered. From their golden seats the gods could look down on the sea and the lands of men, watching cities rise and fall, watching the smoke of sacrifices twist upward in thin gray threads. Zeus, who rules the thunder, sat at the center, holding his great staff. Around him the gods spoke of many things: the wars men had fought, the cities that had burned, the oaths that had been kept and broken. At last Zeus raised his hand, and the voices fell quiet. "Men blame us for their sufferings," he said, "yet they rush into ruin with their own blind choices. Look at Aegisthus. He took another man's wife. He murdered a king, and when Orestes struck him down in turn, people called it the work of fate. But it was his own folly that brought him to that end." The other gods murmured, some nodded. On a lower seat, restless and watchful, sat Athena, gray-eyed and thoughtful. She had been waiting for her chance to speak. "Father," she said, "it is true that many men run toward their own destruction, but there is one who suffers beyond what he deserves. You once called him the wisest of those who fought at Troy. You know whom I mean. He is far from home, and he has been forgotten too long." Zeus looked at her, though he already knew the name she would speak. "You are thinking of Odysseus," he said. "Yes," Athena replied, "Odysseus, the man of many plans. While other chiefs rushed to display their strength, he used his mind. It was his counsel that helped bring down Troy at last. And yet, when the war ended and the other Greeks sailed home, he was thrown off course and has wandered ever since. 10 years have passed since the fall of Troy, and still he has not seen his own roof or embraced his wife." She leaned forward, and her eyes were bright. "He is trapped on an island in the middle of the sea. A nymph holds him there, Calypso of the lovely hair. She offers him everything: soft words, a place at her side, even the gift of never growing old. But his heart is not with her. Day after day he sits on the shore, gazing toward the west, crying for his wife and his son and the land of Ithaca." Zeus rested his hand on the head of the eagle at his side and considered. "It is true," he said at last, "that I have not forgotten Odysseus. But the Earth-Shaker has not forgiven him. Poseidon still holds a grudge, for Odysseus has blinded his son, the Cyclops. So long as Poseidon is angry, it is hard for Odysseus to find his way over the sea." "Poseidon always wanders far," Athena said quickly. He will not be at his full strength every hour of every day. If you will only give the word, the others can help. Let Hermes carry your command to Calypso, that she must let Odysseus go. Let him build a raft and reach a friendly shore. Then we can guide him the rest of the way." Zeus lifted the dark clouds of his brow and smiled a little. "Daughter," he said, "you have always favored that man. Very well. It is not right that he should sit on that island forever with his heart wasting away. I will send Hermes with my order. Calypso must release him and let him strive for home. But as for the path he takes, I leave that to you. Use your wisdom. Help him as you see fit." Athena's face shone. She stood up at once. "I will go to Ithaca first," she said. "His son is there, almost grown. The boy is surrounded by insolent men who eat his father's food and press his mother to choose a new husband. If there is to be a home worth coming back to, the son must be roused. I will put courage in his heart and send him out to seek news of his father. That way, Odysseus's name will not die, and the boy will be ready for what is coming." Zeus nodded. "Go then," he said. "Speak to the young man. As for the sea, I will see that it does not swallow his father. Poseidon may still grumble, but he will not overrule my will." With that, the council turned to other matters. The gods spoke of distant wars and the prayers of the kings. But Athena was no longer listening. She had a plan in mind, and she moved quickly when her mind was fixed. She left the shining height of Olympus and dropped down toward the world of men, swift as a bird. As she sped through the air, she took on a mortal shape, that of a wandering friend of the family of Ithaca, a man named Mentis, captain of a foreign ship. In this disguise, she set her feet on the soil of Odysseus's island for the first time since the war began. Below her, the house of Odysseus stood large and solid, built of stone with a wide courtyard and stout doors. Smoke rose from its hearth. The place was full of life, but not the quiet life of a well-ruled home. As Athena drew near, she heard the clatter and laughter of men at ease, drinking and feasting in a hall that was not their own. She sighed. "Odysseus," she thought, "you have enemies inside your walls as well as out on the sea. Your wife holds fast, but she cannot hold out forever. It is time your son learned to stand up like your son." With that, she stepped toward the threshold of the great house, ready to begin the work that would draw father and son toward each other across the long divide of years and ocean.